that'll happen or not, I don't know.
Me either. We'd like to call this meeting to order. It's good to have you all here today. This is the Weber County Commission meeting dated this day, October 15th, 2019, 10 a.m. We pretty much hit it on today. This has been a while since we've been right on. And, hold on, don't you go dragging. We're here and it's time. Anyway, we welcome you here. It's good to have you all here today. First on today, we'll have Zachary Dam give us an invocation. Gary Myers will give us a Pledge of Allegiance, and I will do the thought of the day. So, Zachary, you're up. Oh, you just walked in. Good timing. Go ahead.
Father, we thank you so much for this day that you've given us. We thank you that you give us the opportunity to come to you in prayer and to seek your blessing and guidance for this day. We thank you for having given us this beautiful day and for the opportunity that we have every day to get up and to be in health and to live in this free country where we have the opportunity of making our own decisions through our government. And we pray that you would help our county commissioners today as they handle the affairs that are set before them and as they deal with the business of the county, that they would have wisdom and discretion, and that you would bless them and guide them, that they may make wise decisions for us, the citizens. It is in Jesus' name that I pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, sir.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Zachary, we appreciate you coming opening our meeting today. I love it when somebody comes to praise for us, and I thank you for that. It's interesting, this last weekend, we had Columbus Day, Indigenous People Day, whatever you want to call it. It was a wonderful day. And I didn't realize till Friday afternoon we were getting ready to leave, and I told Shelley, I'll see you tomorrow, or see you Monday. And she said, hold on, we're off Monday. I didn't realize that. Anyway, we were, but it was good. Anyway, this weekend that passed, I had a chance to take some of my grandkids, and we went down and walked the Grand Canyon. So I drove down to Kanab, and we spent, after we got out, we spent that night in Kanab and then came back. And it was interesting to watch Kanab. While I was sitting there checking in, this guy waved at the lady, and he says, do you have any rooms left tonight? And she says, no, sir, we're sold out. I said to her, I said, man, are you so busy that in October, the second weekend in October, you're sold out? And she says, oh, yeah. She says, there's a lot going. Well, tourism in Utah is way up right now. And when you go down there and you see what they're doing, and you see the wonderful country we have down there, there's no question why. I'm just telling you, it's a beautiful place, a wonderful place to go be and see, and it's beyond belief, frankly, most of it. So it's a good time I had with my family, and I'd recommend all of you get together with your families to do something very similar. It's a good deal. So that's my thought for the day. All right, first item up on our agenda today is public comments. We allow 3 minutes for you to comment. Unless you have something that's on the agenda, then hold it for the agenda. But if you don't, if you just want to comment, right now's the time. So we'd turn the time over to you. I see Mr. Ralph Price coming forward.
Hey, Scotty, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing great.
Let Fatima, yeah, you're going to, there you go.
Scotty, I can get
Very
this.
good. Thank you,
How you
sir.
doing?
Good to have you here
Hey,
today.
Mr. Harvey, how you doing? How you doing? Just wanted to be able to come down. You guys know me from Agape Outreach, Ralph Price, 636 East and 6th Street, and I have Agape Outreach, which we work with homeless people coming out of prisons, jails, and people coming that are battered women. We work with people that are destitute and have come over to the Utah here, and specifically Weber County here to get us a new start. And I just came forward to be able to thank you for all the efforts and all the things that have been put together. Scott, I sit on the board with you, well, I'm kind of bull in a china shop. You had to put me in my place when I first started, but I'm thankful for that. We got a good friendship out of that now, and just saw Miss Harvey and you, and introduce you one of the people that we brought all the way. Found him as a drug addict and doing heroin and stuff like that. He prided himself with the programs. Got him hooked into Weber Human Services over there with the great things you got going on with alcohol and drug and mental health issues. And there's been so many like that now, as you saw, he was driving around with a pretty girl in the truck and coming from work and going to his apartment. I just want to testify that that's the church in me and the black in me, that what's been done in Weber County has been just amazingly successful. That we're doing things that Salt Lake County and other counties are trying to do, and trying to do it on a scale that is different, that is more towards the system, and as just groups of people being doing. I want to just thank you that the work that we do is prepare them to be able to come. Ella's acting up here because she knows she's on TV or something. So, but I want to thank you for all the services that we do have, the YCC and the different things that are in the county, so that when people that are in these situations, they have a resource to be able to help themselves. Okay, excuse me. No. Settle down. No. They have a resource to be able to put their lives back together. We've been working now with Ann Milner and some others, and we're looking at some monies that's been appropriated so that we can take and be the first county and the first cities in the United States to take them from homeless to college, homeless to the community down here to the tech school, so that they can get vocational training and becomes, once again, the same thing that all of us have. We have dreams of having careers. We have dreams of having professions that are proficient to be able to not only help us here today, but help our prodigy and help our futures and help that we can build for our families. That's happening in Weber County. And I'm just thankful for that, and I just wanted to come specifically today to let you know that you guys are doing a great job. And thank you for the job you're doing. Then I got one thing I want to ask, though, is that I am now looking to try to go to bat with some of these bigger stores, that the Macy's and the different ones that have these foods, prepared foods, and they change out 3 times, 4 times a day, the foods, so that they throw it away. It was over $180,000 a week's worth of food that is being thrown away when I just monitored Mavericks and 7-Eleven, and that's for a month, and that's per week. And that's $180,000 worth of food per week, and everything would feed a lot of folks. And that's, I've gone to Weber County Health Department. I've got the ones in Salt Lake and the ones in Davis County, the health department's there. And I've got a tentative that I've got my legal team putting together so that we can try for and not ask for the provision to be taken away, because it protects the main public. And it keeps the food is going to be fresh and the feed is going to be right. We need to have that. But we also need to have humanitarian effort with inside that and compassion. Instead of throwing that food away, I'm asking for a third to be able to be given so that we can pick it up and we can pass it out. And that's children that they get to have a good meal. They get to have, to us and everything, we go ahead from our fridge and our stoves and our tables with our bellies full, and then during the day we might feel like a hamburger, we might feel like a hot dog, or we might feel like some of that. So we stop by these places, we pick it up, but we know that we got that next meal coming too. I want you to know that if we have this to go through, we can guarantee that these people at least have one good meal already prepared. We got the winter coming up where fires are going to be important to people that are in these situations, so they can cook something. And they cook as groups in this. But if we could provide for them a way that they might be able to have some of this food, so the bellies aren't as hurting as they are, and they're just so that they would like a snack or something like this. Those meals that have taken a third of that food would provide a good meal for them each and every day. As I've approached these people, one of the things I've come into as I've contacted the officials at Maverick. I have 2 vice presidents from the corporate that are interested in this side here. As I pitch this, I'm going to be coming in. I came this last week. You guys have been really busy, so I stayed out of your hair. But I'm just warning you, here I come again. And I said, that's
So-
what I'm coming for.
Ralph, what does the health department say about this? Have you had a chance to talk to them?
Yeah, both for 4 different health departments, up in Cache County, down in Salt Lake, down in Utah, and down in Davis County, besides Weaver here. And all of them are in agreement on their upper level that this is something we could try to do. If by chance, we'll go ahead and get it so that it can be done through the courts and through the changes be made, they're willing to look at this. Because I'm not looking for the position thing, but just an appendage
Sure.
put to it for a third.
Well, the way I look at this, they're the only organization that's really holding you up, is the health department.
And that's where you guys come in.
That's
If
true.
I can go and say that I've talked to the commissioners, and which I've already been to them and talked, and I don't use your names or use your position or anything without your authority. So I'm here to be able to give you this thought that I have, so that when I start bugging you this next week about joining my campaign on this, you know what I'm talking about. Because
good.
I want to be able to approach them with a winning attitude. As you know, I played linebacker and a middle linebacker. I don't like to be beat. So I try to put a good defense up there and say, bam, we're going to win this game.
That's
So
good.
I got my office team working on what they got. I'm here right now putting together the best defense so that any type of things come up, I got you guys out there playing defensive back for me. We're going to win this. And
That's
so
good.
I want you guys to think about it and just know that's what I'm approaching it about. There's so many that could be fed, from little 5-year-olds and little babies all the way to the guys and girls that
Sure.
are going to work.
Well, if we
driving
can work
those cars.
this out, we certainly would, we look forward to meeting.
Don't give me a
with
yes
you.
yet. You better think about it, Scotty.
You bet. That's
Because,
good.
Okay? So I'd
Okay.
like to say that. Thank
Now,
you very much.
I can't help but see that when you introduced yourself, you said 6th Street. Is that a new address?
Yeah, it's a hospital type thing. I've got some issues going. I had a kind of minor stroke, and so I'm kind of having to rehab on the rush. Doctors don't like it, but I told them I got a blanket on me. Don't worry. They think I'm
Yeah.
in bed. They don't know it's Ellis.
All right, bud. Well,
So-
we wish you well. I just want to
I know
try.
you do.
I want to keep track of you.
Okay. Well, you're going to get sick of me.
Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you.
Thank you. You bet. Very good. Anybody else who came to address us today? All right, we'll go to the next item on our agenda then. These are our consent items. F starts with item 1 is request for approval of warrants 2083 through 2095 and 443592 through 444111 in the amount of $1,241,692. Second is request for approval of purchase orders in the amount of $57,411. Third is request for USU extension for approval to surplus office furniture. Fourth is request for Sheriff's Office for approval to surplus a Xerox XEW-1 copy machine, I assume that is. Fifth is request for approval of Human Resources. Policy 4-700, Wellness Program and Incentives. That was number 5. Number 6 is approval for change order number 4 with Saunders Construction for site and utility work at the Ogden Branch Library. And number 7 is request for clerk auditor election office for approval of poll workers for the 2019 special elections. Questions, commissioners, on any of those? I assume we've all had a chance to go through them.
No, I think, I just wanted to make sure everybody was aware of consent agenda 5, wellness program that was put forth by Sarah Swan. This deals with the wellness of our Weber County employees. We've had a program set up in the past that encouraged them to participate in weekly exercise. What this will do is even encourage them a little bit more. We have an agreement with both VASA and EOS, the previous Gold's Gym, that in the event that they do sign up and attend at least 5 sessions, I believe it's a month, or excuse me, 8 sessions a month, that they will get reimbursed for that time. It's been proven to be effective in a lot of different organizations that the more time that people will spend exercising, they're better, more productive at work, less sick, and a better lifestyle. So I've encouraged Sarah to put this together, and that's what we'll be approving today if we approve the consent. So I think we're moving the right direction with that.
I agree with that. The one thing I would like to do for Sheriff's Office, to give you the okay to surplus this copy machine, I'd like you to wait a month to do it, okay? Just that simple. And the only reason is because Quinn is looking at all of our IT and informational stuff holistically as a group right now. And I just want to give him time to get back to you on yours. But I suspect other than that, there's no issue at all with that. So, thank you. So with that, I'd accept a motion.
I'll make the motion that we accept the consent items, F like Foxtrot 1 and including through and including 7.
Second.
Very good. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
None opposed. So that's approved. First action item, G1, is request for approval of contract between Weber County and CRS Engineering to provide for the designers to participate as a design support during the construction phase. Gary Meyer.
Good morning,
Good
Commissioners.
morning.
Morning.
So what I have for you today is it would basically be a modification to CRS's contract. They were the ones that assisted us with the design on the 12th Street project. As you're aware, we're getting ready to begin construction. In fact, they should be mobbing equipment out there on site today. And then what I would like is a modification for the designers to be around and available during the construction phase should we have any questions or things arise that we would require their assistance with. Do you have any questions for me on that?
Well, what's the dollar amount?
So the dollar amount is $98,640.
And if they're around, isn't that what we pay you for?
Yes. However, there's always something that happens. If you're familiar with construction, the minute you start digging, there's usually some unknown that we encounter in the field. There's a lot of times there's utility lines that are in the way that need to be relocated. Things of that nature. This allows them to have a monetary amount to cover their time to assist us with if we need to loop a water line, if we need to loop a gas line, if you know, who knows what we could run into in the field as we're constructing the project.
Commissioners, any questions? Go ahead, Gage.
Yeah. So, Gary, I look at this and I understand what you're asking for.
Uh-huh.
My question is would it be possible to put this into, when this project was originally bid, into the original bid packet, so we didn't have to come back and do a modification to the contract? Or I guess that's, you know, we've seen this happen more than once. Why couldn't this be put in the original bid package to say, when you bid this project, include this personnel in your bid?
Sure. So the reason we did, great question, by the way. The reason we didn't do that is because we wanted to take the project as far as we could with the money we had. To be honest, it was a bit of an afterthought at the time. We didn't think of that at the moment, and we could have had the contractor say, put a retainer in place for them. However, there's always the chance we may not use this amount of money. So this allowed the contractor to use their money to go as far as they could down the project, as far west on the corridor. Okay.
So is it up to $98,640, or is that the amount that will be?
Well, it's up to, and whatever we don't use, we can eliminate.
And so we're on an hourly rate.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. So.
All right. So I guess the positive side of this is this would possibly negate some potential change orders that, as we run into some delays, that
So on this particular contract, we tried a little bit of an innovative approach with the bidding scenario for the contractor. For example, what we told them is we said we have X amount of dollars of money. We want you to go as far as you can. Normally, how we would do that is we would give them line items of all the different items that they'll be building and constructing in the field with an associated quantity, and then they would assign a unit price to it. This was a little bit different approach, more of a innovative, a little bit unique design build type approach. We wanted them to get creative, because a lot of times if you don't direct basically we didn't want to give them too much direction. We wanted them to get creative and see what they could do to come up with cost saving monies to stretch our money further. And so that's why we did it from that approach with the contractor. This is to allow the designers to be on board, to be there on a weekly basis. Essentially, it basically covers their time for the duration of the project from when it begins until when it ends. So that way they can help answer questions. A lot of times you get requests for clarifications from the contractor through the project that, you know, it helps to have them available with their resources. They have all the digital models of the design and the terrain. So.
No other questions?
Okay, the question I have is, when it comes to this, I don't understand why you and your department can't do what you're paying them $98,000 to do. I mean, I do understand that they have the original design of it, but you have it all. They give it to you on paper and electronically, and so you have it in your office. Don't you have the ability to direct additional movements as that comes?
We do. What, and at the moment, I don't have the I could request them, right, the electronic files. This kind of allows me a little bit of help in the field while the construction project's going on. A lot of times there's right-of-way concerns, a lot of times there's dealing with utilities, that kind of thing, and there's multiple different private irrigation companies out there that have facilities within our right-of-way. There's just a lot of moving parts and pieces out there with the project. This allows me a little bit of extra help, if you will. The way our department is running, we're running pretty tight, pretty lean, our engineering department. And so to focus a lot of extra time and energy would be challenging for me at this point. So
you're down one man. Are you still down that man?
well, really, we're down two. We lost Blaine Franson earlier this spring, and then we lost Jared a little while ago. So we've essentially this year gone from 6 to 4.
Oh, I have a hard time voting for this because I really think you ought to do it yourself. Do you have a comment?
I'd like to, thank you.
Sure.
I respect that Mr. Franson Blaine and Mr. Anderson are no longer with us. You said that this contract will cover us through the duration of the project. What is the anticipated duration of this project?
So we've given the contractor a date of next fall to have everything paved by.
A date of next fall. Is there what does
That-
that mean?
That's a little bit
Ambiguous,
loose,
yeah,
right?
sure.
Yeah, the reason being is we want all the asphalt to be placed by the time our specifications allow it to be placed.
That
So
date, do you have a specific date or just kind of an estimated fall time period?
and that's usually about the 1st of November is kind of what we discussed with the contractor.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair, if I can, I also want to make sure I understand, you know, if someone were buying a home from a contractor, or if they were getting some services and they agreed to provide a turnkey home, so that at the end of the contract, the customer has the key, they can open the lock, and they can expect when they flip the switch, when they come in, the lights turn on, and the house, the heat will work, and everything else. And so, if I were buying a home for $98,000, and the home were being built, I would expect the footings to be correct, the foundation, the floor, the walls, the insulation, the paint, you know, everything.
Sure.
Are we going to be billed for carpet and light fixtures at the time of footings and foundation?
Right. I see where you're going with that. And again, so we have had multiple utilities go out, move their facilities to where we feel they need to be. The problem you run into is a lot of times the crews, as we've identified them, there's complications that arise. They didn't get it exactly where they wanted. You know, there may be for example, on the last one, there's a couple different irrigation lines we ran into we didn't know about. We had to design things on the fly.
I respect what you're talking about. Thank you. Sorry to interrupt. I don't mean to
Sure.
be rude. I'm asking on this particular, not what's happened, I'm asking on this particular action item number 1.
Sure.
Would that be the case moving forward with this particular contract?
Meaning that once
Would
it's,
would we allow them to bill us for paint and for carpet and cabinets at the same time they're billing us for footings and foundations?
so if I'm understanding you correctly, you're referring to the contractor or you're referring to
This particular contract
this
with
particular
this
contract?
contractor?
Yeah. No, this is all inclusive of everything. So if something arises that I need to request their assistance on, there would be no extra charges beyond this. And as I mentioned and referred to Commissioner Frower, this is a not to exceed number, meaning that we don't necessarily have to use all of this number, right? If there's some left over, by all means, we would zero it out and not bill it.
Most of the change orders that I've seen out on 12th Street, we haven't got a refund on any of them that I'm familiar with. I don't know that we've saved money on any of them. On 3500 West, there was a couple, but not on 12th Street. So I don't have any confidence that we're going to get any money back on this right now.
So I can tell you, we are trending probably about $30,000 to $40,000 under budget on the current, or the construction phase that ended back in July.
Okay.
So there will be some recouped there as well, too.
Okay? That's all the questions I have right now, Mr. Chair.
Very good. So,
I do like your statement about, I appreciate that you need the help.
Yeah,
Why can't we do it? The one thing about Weber County's engineering services is it does come out of our municipal services, and we've taken a proactive approach through this budget cycle to make sure that we're doing everything we can to help that municipal services budget.
so Gary, in the future, I want to dig into these a little more.
sure.
So I want you to come talk to me personally. on
Okay,
these.
be happy
Okay.
to. Absolutely.
Okay.
I'm happy to discuss this in further detail if you'd like as well, too.
Well, my only concern here is, once again, it doesn't really change. It's just the fact that, and I realize your department's short right now.
Right.
So actually, but I expect you guys to be at a competent level where you can do this yourself.
Sure, sure.
I hate to go back all the time on these kind of deals because you never know. It's hard to identify if we're being taken advantage of or not on these modifications.
Sure, sure.
You know, and it is, and so we try to tighten this up. I mean, don't get me wrong, everybody deserves to make a buck, and I'm okay with that. We know that when we issue these contracts that those guys are here to make a profit, and they
Sure.
should. But when you do modifications to the contract, it's hard to control those.
Well, and please be aware that my intent is to not just, my intent is to involve them on an as-needed basis, right? So I'm going to know beforehand throughout the week with the phone calls I'm getting whether or not I'm going to need them at the weekly meetings, that kind of thing. So my intent is to use this as it's needed.
All right, we'll be watching this very closely.
Perfect.
I'm looking for a motion.
Mr. Chair, I would move to approve the request for the contract between Weber County and CRS Engineers to provide for the designers to participate as design support during the construction phase. And I just had a couple of clarifications with that motion, if I might. So the way I understand this, then the $98,640 basically will be on an as-needed basis, and you're going to determine whether it's needed or not them.
Correct.
Is that correct?
Correct.
So that you call for services, they bill us.
Correct.
Okay. And I guess the other part, more of a comment, I get a little concerned when I hear that the deadline is sometime in fall. In previous life, I did a lot of government contracting, and we always, the government expected me to be completed by X day. And if I wasn't completed by X day, guess what? I had to pay what they call liquidated damages because I wasn't complete. So I just get concerned that if that's a if that is a trend in the county, I would encourage you to be a little bit more conservative and say, look, we need this project delivered on such a day, and if you don't deliver it, then there's going to be some penalties. That's the government contracting way that I'm used to.
Sure.
Maybe things have changed, but anyway,
No.
I think it's better business to expect and then hold those contractors to a standard.
No, that's a great point, Commissioner. And let me clarify on that a little bit. This morning, I was out working with another contractor in regards to paving. So the specification of the asphalt paving was fresh in my mind, and I apologize. We want all that paving done within our specification, and usually it's by the 1st of November. There will
Right.
be some small cleanup shouldering work that needs to be done after that, and we're going to give them, I believe the date we had on the contract goes to December 1st. I'd have to verify that for you to be safe, but we did ultimately give them a drop-dead date of when they needed to be done. But the biggest hurdle on this project is going to be getting the amount of asphalt we need to put in place down by the time and the parameters the specifications outline.
I get that.
And you are correct. There are certain, damages we can assess at that point if it's not happening.
Okay, I get it. Sorry, Mr. Chair, that's my long motion.
No, that's okay. That's a big asphalt job.
It's a very big one. $10.5 million is a lot of asphalt,
You bet.
so.
Is there a second? I'll second that. Thank you very much. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Okay, we have 2-1. Thank you, Gary.
Thanks, Commissioners, appreciate it.
Bet. All right. Action item G2, discussion on the 2019 Transportation Priority Recommendations. Mrs. Brooks Stewart,
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
welcome here.
Thanks
Morning.
for having me. So, this time of year is a very exciting time of year for us, and so we're happy to bring before you today the 2019 Weber County Local Transportation Funds Priority Recommendation from the Weber Area Council of Governments. So as you're all aware, the county sales and use tax requires that the Council of Governments finalize a transportation priority list and submit it to the legislative body for approval annually. Last week, you all had the opportunity with the members of WACOG to be presented with a detailed review of the project applications. And this year, we had 8 applications that were submitted that totaled just over, a little over $15.4 million in requests. So WACOG last week unanimously approved recommendation of $3,037,280 in corridor preservation funds and $12,417,639 in sales tax funds for the 8 projects. Those included the Far West City 4000 North project, the Ogden City 1200 South Overpass Study and Corridor Preservation Project, the Ogden City Signal at 20th Street and Lincoln Avenue, the Ogden City North Street West project, the Plain City North Plain City Road project, Phase 1, the Roy City 4300 West project, the West Haven 3300 South Phase 2 project, and the West Haven 3300 South Phase 2. West Haven also had, sorry, I read that twice, didn't I?
Okay.
West Haven has a Midland Drive corridor preservation
Extension.
project, is the 8th project. So the corridor preservation funds are programmed for 2022, and the sales tax funds are programmed for 2023. We had some really exciting projects submitted this year, and so we're happy to bring forward this recommendation from the Weber Area Council of Governments. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Commissioners, I serve on that transportation portion of that WACOG, and we went out and did site visits this year. I found out that Brooke can drive a pretty mean van.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she did a good job. And anyway, we went around and looked at all these, and they're all needed. The big question is, what do you put first and what don't you? But in this case, we had the time and the monies, the funds to fund them, so we did. And it was good.
It was a good
Any
year.
questions?
This has been vetted by those members of that subcommittee for WACOG, and I support them.
So Brooke, you're here today looking for an approval from us, right?
Correct.
Very good. Commissioners, I'd accept a motion.
I'll move that we accept the action for the 2019 transportation priority recommendations made by the subcommittee WACOG.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. It's approved.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Commissioners.
Brooke. Appreciate you. All right, next item up is request for approval of an easement agreement by and between Weber County and the Bingham Family Trust to replace a slope easement at 8443 East Spring Park. Braden Felix.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Braden, good to have you again.
Morning.
And I apologize. I wonder if is it possible for this to have been done as a consent item instead of an action item? If,
Doesn't matter now, we're done with
it doesn't
consent.
matter now, but in the future, I'm sure I'm going to be
Sure.
presenting more of these in the future. When we dedicated Spring Park Road, because it was a road that we had built on a hillside, we had to put a lot of fill, and therefore we had to dedicate a certain easement saying that we wanted to keep this fill in place to help hold up the road. And when a certificate of occupancy is granted on a parcel that has one of those slope easements, that easement goes away, but we were able to require a replacement easement so we can at least retain what slope is there. That's the case that happened here with the Binghams. We were able to go back and forth with them to come up with an easement agreement that we appreciated, and so the result is what you have before you.
Questions, Commissioners? Is
No, I don't have any questions.
is there a price associated with this?
Nope.
Well, this is good then. Okay, I don't have any problems at all with any of this.
Commissioner?
Yeah.
I'll make a motion that we approve the easement agreement between Weber County and the Bingham Family Trust for the slope easement at 8443 East Spring Park.
Commissioner Farrar?
Second.
Hey, you've looked at that?
I have. Hold it up to plat right here, so.
We kind of trust your judgment on this being a realtor. Very good.
I think, and obviously, the owners are in favor of this, or have
Yeah.
agreed to it. I see that they've signed off on the easement, so,
Yeah, we work closely with them and their attorney.
yeah, so I think this is a good thing.
Good, so we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Unanimous.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Braden, we appreciate you coming. Item 4, request for approval of a memorandum of understanding by and between Weber County and Ogden City regarding building plan review and inspections. Mr. Scott Mendoza.
Commissioners, good morning.
Good morning.
This isn't all that exciting, but it is meaningful. What we're presenting to you today is basically an agreement between Weber County and Ogden City to perform their own building inspections and their own plan review, their building plan reviews. This will come into effect when either the county or the city builds something within the other's jurisdiction. As part of the MOU, electrical permit fees and building permit fees will be waived, but all other applicable fees will remain unaffected by the MOU. As part of this agreement also, either party can terminate this particular MOU at any time. So again, not a lot here to actually consider. It's a very short MOU, but what it does facilitate is the county, for example, if it needs a building permit for a project within the city's boundary, because the county has certified professionals here on staff, the county will be able to utilize its own building inspection plan reviewer and its field building inspectors to perform those duties, and likewise for the city.
All right.
I think it's a great step in the right direction, especially if it goes both ways.
It does go
No,
both
I-
ways.
Questions?
I think this is a step in the right direction. My only question is, who started this process? You or us or Ogden City?
You know, I'm not sure. I wouldn't dare say. It may have been discussed maybe on both sides, but
And I'm assuming this only deals with inspections and plan review. It doesn't have anything to do with approval for specific projects in terms of parking spaces, et cetera.
Oh, yeah, that's a great question. No, this doesn't affect that. So other applicable reviews, say fire district review will remain the same. Land use approvals will all go through the appropriate jurisdiction.
Okay, that's kind of what I thought, so. Anyway, Mr. Chair, I would make a motion to approve. This is a step in the right direction. Hopefully, we can take this and maybe move on to some greener pastures in the future, if you know what I mean. So, motion to approve the memorandum of understanding between Weber County and Ogden City regarding the building plan review and inspections.
Second.
Very good. I have motion and second for item G4, the MOU. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. Good, thanks,
Commissioners,
Don.
thank you.
Thank you.
So next item up is been removed from the agenda. G5, they've asked that to be held till next week. So we're going to wait one more week.
That's the one thing I was looking for.
Is it? I'm sorry I didn't announce it earlier.
Oh, gee.
Could have left.
All right.
Hold on. All right. I am
Next
all right.
item is G6, request for approval of contract by Weber County, U.S. Department of Justice, Office of Civil Rights for improving re-entry of adults with co-occurring substance abuse and mental illness.
Morning.
Commissioners.
Good morning.
Good morning, Charlotte Sutherland and Brian Baggs. It's good to have you here today.
Is that who we are?
Good to be here.
This is kind of a duo. We normally don't have two at a time up there.
No, we're going to figure it out as we go.
That's good. Go ahead.
Earlier this year, the Sheriff's Office, in conjunction with Alpha Counseling, started the Weber Addictions and Reentry Program, otherwise known as WARP. This program is designed to provide case management as well as cognitive behavioral reentry services to offenders in Weber County. In conjunction with Alpha Counseling, we applied for several Bureau of Justice assistance grants offered by the Department of Justice in order to expand and test the outcomes of this program. Alpha Counseling was instrumental in the coordination and submission of these grants. On September 26, we were notified that we were awarded a grant of $999,999 for this program. Entities taking sub-award in this grant are Alpha Counseling and the University of Cincinnati, who will be running our randomized control trial. Community support of this program has been given by Adult Probation and Parole, Vocational Rehabilitation, Seeger Memorial Clinic, and the Utah Bureau of Criminal Identification, who will help assist in data collection for the study. With the Commission's approval of this grant, we can enter into the planning and development phase immediately. So unless Charlotte has anything to add?
No, I'm just here for questions, just in case you guys have any questions on this.
Well, in this grant you've been given, is there, can some of this money be using for housing to help reenter?
So we're actually going towards another grant that we're submitting today that will go towards the housing. We're working with Andrea Beatles in that. So that's a whole nother grant. This one's just to get the WARP program up and running, to be able to fund that. Then we're going to be applying for this other grant for the reentry and the reduction in recidivism.
So they are connected
Correct.
loosely.
Yes.
Okay, very good. Questions, Commissioners?
So Charlotte, so this is basically for job creation, or
So
how
this
does it?
So this is to mainly help, because right now we've only got 7 groups going
Yes.
for mental health awareness. This is to be able to increase that and to hopefully increase the scope of what we're able to do, because we have seen such positive outcomes with Alpha Counseling and this program that we were hoping to extend it, and also be able to, I'm trying to think of, with the University of Cincinnati, get this going so that we can have these results and be able to publish this.
Okay. Well, in talking with the sheriff, this has been very successful. I think we're seeing some results, some positive results from this.
Yes.
And I, again, congratulate you for applying, or Alpha for applying for this grant. And then hopefully we can get that. I think a grant applied for today is $2 million,
Yes,
if I'm not mistaken.
$2,200,000.
So hopefully we can be successful in that, and then really make a difference in from work to the traditional housing ladder, if you will, so we can get these people in traditional housing at some point in time.
Yes, that's the goal.
Very good. So Melissa Freegang, she's aware of what you're doing and watching it, right?
Yes.
Good. Commissioner?
I'm in favor. I'm ready to make a motion when
Yeah,
you're ready.
I'm ready.
I'll make a motion that we approve the contract by and between Weber County and the U.S. Department of Justice Office for the Civil Rights of Improving Reentry for Adults with Co-occurring Substance Abuse and Mental Illness.
Second.
Okay, I have motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes. Thanks, you guys. We
Thank you,
appreciate you coming
Commissioners.
today.
Appreciate it.
You bet. All right, item G, Commissioner comments. Feel free.
I don't have any for today.
What?
No, I know.
No comments?
No
I think
comment.
that's the first time since I've been here. You had no comments.
It's a Christmas miracle.
It is kind of.
Well, I'm just going to key off of what you said earlier about getting out and enjoying this good weather. I came back from St. George as well, and I tell you what, those 75-degree weather days down there feel pretty good. So let's get out and enjoy this weather for the next couple weeks.
Did you golf down there?
I did, as a matter of fact, yeah.
That's good.
It's, yeah, good time to golf.
Good time to golf. Well, very good then. Thank you all. It's good to have you here. Ricky and Portland, good to have you with us here, Fatima and all the rest. We welcome you. It's good to have you all here. So with that, I'd accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you.
That was a